Okay, what is up, everyone? What is up, everybody? Welcome back for a very special edition of the Front Office. I'm your host, analyst, and reporter, Inkatan, aka Stephen B. Smith. And as it says in the description, this is the award voting live stream. So buckle up, strap in, and listen to these awards. So, Brody, thank you, Brody Handwerker, made a very detailed spreadsheet where I can rank the um awards. So like for those of you who follow hockey or have ever seen hockey, basically you get to vote, right? First place, second place, third place, and then there's like a point system. So that basically like that way if everybody thinks this guy should be second, but like the first place votes are kind of scattered out, right? But like the guy who really should get it only ends up getting one first place vote, but some random guy gets two. The person with all those second place votes will get first place. All right. So without further ado, I will now be doing my ranking for. We'll start from the bottom. So we'll start with fourth man of the year. We'll start with fourth man of the year. Actually, we'll start with coach of the year. So coach of the year. This one, if I'm being completely honest, is not too much of a conversation because the guy who he's showed up by far to the most games, he supported his team. Not only does his team technically have the best record in the league, I think that this is without a doubt Grant Shigakawa. Grant has been so committed, so dedicated to his high flyers unit with the ups, with the downs, with the trades. He's been there, he's supported. I think Grant, deservedly so, will get that first place vote. Second place, this guy, he showed up for his team. I think that, you know, they've had their ups and they had their downs, but when you look at the guys, I'm thinking about coach of the year. This guy showed up for his team. Like he was at games, he really cared, right? And what since he joined this team has had a winning record. This team was 1-4. He joined. They're now 7-7. And I know they don't have the best record, but you know, the other guys in the list haven't really been to a lot of games, right? So Jason Lang is going to be my second place vote for coach of the year. And then third place, this guy again, his team record is good, but more importantly, he showed up to a lot of games. He's really supported his unit. I'm going to give this one to Joey Papalardo for third place vote. So that's my coach of the year. Rookie of the year. So this one's interesting, right? Because I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to come back to this after I do MVP because they're MVP candidates in the rookie of the year, which makes no sense. So let's go to MIP. Let's go to MIP. Most improved player of the year has consistently gone to people who in the NBA have gone to lottery picks who were like busts, who then played like lottery picks. So I'm not going to do that. All right. My most improved player of the year is going to go to a guy who, I know have actually worked on his game a little bit in the offseason. A guy who has made a huge impact on his team, and his team has reaped the benefits. And it's going to go to a guy who has consistently showed up for his team because most improved player of the year is not MVP, right? This guy's not the best player in the league, but it's a guy who showed up day in, day out, no matter what, rain or shine for his team. So without further ado, my first place, this team, when you look at this team, they don't have a real, they don't have a guy who's going to score 30 in this league. They don't have a guy who is the best player in the league, but somehow they're in the top five in record, in the top five in standings. He's been an incredible player for his team. My first place, most improved, sorry, they're top six technically in standings. But my first place for most improved player of the year is going to go to Nico Brenner. Nico's been incredible for his Trojan squad. He's taken them from bad in the beginning to okay to now top six in standings. And he's overall been really incredible. Second place for most improved player of the year. This team struggled to begin the season, but he's really focused in on not only his craft, but winning basketball plays. This team has had some gutsy wins. This guy has cut up his arms, his legs for his team. Uh, Again, it's going to be super, super close between the second and third place for me. It could really be a coin flip between Connor and Aiden Dunsky. Those two individuals have because not only is most improved player, it has to affect the winning. So if you want to give either of these guys second place, I'm gonna give the second place for most improved player. I'm gonna give it to Connor because he has better numbers and overall, I think he has a bigger impact on his team. But Aiden has had an incredible season. I'm not taking anything away from him. If he wins most improved player of the year, if Aiden wins that, I will be happy for him. I will support that. Um, but that's just my thought process. Fourth man of the year. This one has had a lot of turmoil, a lot of controversy. Fourth man of the year. In the NBA, fourth man of the year, sixth man of the year, obviously, like guys like Lou Williams and these guys who have had it's either been your championship team and you could be averaging 20, but you're sacrificing your role, like a Keldon Johnson, or it's a guy like Lou Williams who was on those like crappy, Clippers and Hawks teams, but he was averaging like 25. Um, there's no such thing in the LOC. So I'm going to give it to the former, the guy who's impacted a winning team, who has been a huge impact consistently throughout the season. So fourth man of the year, in my eyes, could go to a lot of people, but I'm looking at winning, right? How is this person impacting winning? There's been a lot of turmoil. So Richard Lose, since being traded to the Trojans, they've only lost 2 games. And on the flip side, the Cobras literally haven't won since the trade. They haven't won a game since Richard Lewis, which shows you his value to that Trojans team, right? Again, this Trojans team is comprised of a bunch of glue guys. Zolan, Leo, Nico, and Richard are all glue guys. I love the way they play basketball. Richard, again, he hasn't been with his team the whole season, but the Cobras literally haven't won a game since he's been off the team. And then, of course, the other main candidate has been Danny Panchev all season. Danny is on the number 1 team in my power rankings, and I think they're technically 2 in standings because they play one more game than the High Flyers. But the big what's it called? The big critique on Danny has been his inability to guard, but he's fried guys. He's fried other teams' fourth men consistently throughout the league, which is why they've been able to, play as well as they have. But again, I'm gonna give my fourth man of the year vote to Richard Lewis. Again, that impact is clear. It's clear. You see it, and then second place is gonna go to Danny, but third place could go to a lot of guys. Matthew M has been incredible for his squad. I think that Ben Dinkin has been really good. I think that Sconway has been really good. But when you look at this High Flyers team, you have Aiden, who's not a shooter. He'll tell you that. Ben, who's not a shooter. And before the trade, Brett/Dell's an okay shooter. He's not a three-point shooter. Without State, this team's spacing would be abysmal. Let's just say it how it is. I know he doesn't get a lot of credit, but he's had games where he's really like sparked their offense. They're 12-2. They're an incredible team. They're coached well. I'm going to give my third place vote to Sammy Tate. Now on to defensive player there. Oh no way Brody put himself on. Oh, he put a smiling face next. All right, defense player there. So you can look at the stats first and foremost, right? You can look at the stats. The league leader in steals per game is obviously Andre Duval. Almost 6 steals a game. How that's even possible, I have no clue. Second is Alex Krupkin with almost 4 steals a game. And then third is Matthew Hirsch with 3.2 steals a game. Blocks, Nate obviously won. Sam Cush is now 2. He had a blocking barrage against the Trojans. And then 3 is actually Keith. Again, what's a block? What's a steal? This has kind of been pretty loose all season long. But defense player there is a really crucial award in this league because everybody is a defense first player in this league. So, without further ado, I'm going to give my first place for defensive player. This has been a guy who has consistently been a matchup nightmare for the opposing team. His team has reaped the benefits. He's reaped the benefits. I know that he's had a lot of ups and downs, but I'm going to give my first place for defensive player of the year. I'm really torn between those top 3. Really top 4. because Matthew Hirsch, what he's done defensively has also been incredible. I'm really between Krupp and Ben. I know Andre's been good, but when you watch Andre play, he gets a lot of steals off of like what people could call fouls. Um, so hmm, this time, and I'm doing it on a live stream, so there's a lot of pressure. Again, I'm just looking at this team. I'm looking at where they'd be without him defensively, and I really don't see another defensive. I'm gonna give this one to the High Flyers bench check. Second place, I'm gonna give it to Krupp, and then third place, I'm giving it to Dre. Why Dre third place? Again, steals don't tell the whole story. Ben and Krupp have just been so incredible in help defense, and it's not always what shows up on the stat sheet, right? It's not always what shows up on the stat sheet. Guys who have been, you know, like we've all watched this Knicks series. Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, these guys are some of the best transition scorers in the entire NBA, which means they're the best transition scorers on the planet. And I'm not comparing these guys to Wemby, but when Wemby's there on the fast break, they don't even put it up. Why? Because they know his shot's going to get blocked. A lot of times they don't even shoot it when Krupp and Ben are there because they're afraid of it getting blocked. That's defensive player of the year-esque. That's presence down low. And that's why they are getting my first two place votes. Again, either one of them could win it, and I wouldn't be upset. All right, but now let's get to what everybody really wants to see is MVP, most valuable player. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge, huge hockey fan. In hockey, they give basically 3 awards. No, Aiden, I did not compare Krupp to Wemby. I literally explicitly said that. But uh, I'm a huge hockey fan. They give out 3 awards. They give out a Ted Lindsay, an Art Ross, and a Hart Memorial Trophy. The Art Ross goes to the player who just had the most points, right? So that's like objectively, if you look at the stats, who would be the best player? Which in this league would obviously Nate. He's averaged 20 and 20, but he hasn't played that many games and his team sucks. So it's not going to go to Nate. The Ted Lindsay is just who's voted by everybody, voted by peers. Coaches can't vote. Analysts, like I want to be able to vote for the Ted Lindsay, so I would be interested to see who would win that. Then the Hart Memorial Trophy goes to who has most impact on his team, plus the Art Ross, and then the Ted Lindsay is usually factored in. So yesterday, Connor McDavid won that. So I'm looking at this, and I'm going through each guy. Chase, his team sucks. He hasn't showed up to a lot of games. I think he has under 10 games played. That's not MVP material. Andre down the stretch, he had a 3-point burger the other day. That's not MVP material. He's been great for the first half of the season, but the second half he's really dropped off, and his team has reaped. His team has suffered the consequences. So it's not going to go to Andre. Nate, his team sucks. I already said that. So it really leaves 4 guys. Dylan Chen. No, sorry, it really leaves 3 guys. Dylan Chen, Matthew Hirsch, and Jacob Friedland. So when I look at the Panthers, right? The Panthers, you could give it to DC, right? Because Dylan Chen, not only has he been incredible scoring the ball, but he's also elevated his other players' level, right? So Danny's reaped the benefits of his passing. Noah, Gil. But there have been games when Dylan's not there, and this team wins games because of Gil, right? When Matthew Hirsch doesn't show up, even when he's there and he's not 100%, his team has no chance of winning. Matthew Hirsch, I wanna read you his numbers. He has 200. I just said he has 254 points and 54 steals on the season. That's absurd. I'm sorry. I know it's not a stats-based game, but these are his numbers on the season. 18.1 points per game, 13.2 rebounds per game, two assists per game, 1.6 blocks per game, and 3.2 steals per game. That's ridiculous. And his team is 9-5, and it's literally because of him. Nussie has been playing really well recently. I know I gave Connor an MIP vote, and Sconway is definitely up there for 4th man of the year. But when you watch Matthew Hirsch play, I mean, this guy it's all heart. Shout out Big John. All heart. Shout out Big John. This guy never fogs it up. He's always locked in on games. Matthew Hirsch is going to get my MVP vote, and second place is going to go to Dylan Chen. And I know that the Panthers have a better record than Taos, and I know that I think the Panthers beat Dallas maybe earlier in the season, but what Gill has done for his team rivals anything that another Taos player has done for their team. And then third place, I'm giving it to Freed. Freed was on the outside looking in on the MVP ladder all season. He's the only 200-point player on the Dogs. He showed up to every game. He's been an Iron Man. Jacob Freeland is going to get my third place vote, and he could be second place, and I wouldn't be mad, right? Andre's been incredible for the majority of the season. I know he's been a little off at the end, but Andre's still, shout out him. If he gets third place votes or second place votes, I wouldn't be mad. I would be mad if Nate got a vote or if Chase got a vote. Which leaves me with last but not least, rookie of the year, which is a little silly because it's literally just MVP. So it's gonna go to Matthew Hirsch, and then it's gonna go to Andre Duval. And then that third place, I'm actually looking at Gavin and Ravi and Krupp. Shout out Gavin. Gavin has consistently, I know that he hasn't showed up to some games for his team, but I think he did hit the 10-game mark. Uh, they're the first team to finish their entire regular season. Gavin, he's guarded me many times. He's a really hard guy to get around, but I'm going to give this one to Krupp. He's been traded, and he's with his new home. They've been thriving because of him, and I think that he deserves some love in these votes because I didn't give him first for anything else. So to summarize, to wrap it up, this will conclude my little award edition front office. MVP, my MVP is going to be Matthew Hirsch. Second place, Dylan Chen. Third place, Jake Friedland. Defensive player of the year is going to be the High Flyers, Ben Chaikin. Then Green Giants, Alex Krupkin. And then Andre Duval for the Dogs. Fourth man of the year is going to go to Richard. Second place, Danny. Third place, Sammy Tate. And then most improved player of the year is going to go to Nico. Second place, Connor. Third place, Dunsky. Rookie of the year, Hirsch, Dre, Krupp. And then coach of the year, this should be unanimous. Grant should be 1, 2, Jay Ling, and then 3, Joey Papalardo. Submit. It's been recorded. That concludes this special edition of the Weekly Notebook. I'm your host, analyst, and reporter, Ian Catan, a.k.a. Stephen E. Smith. Got to get back to writing my Girls Flag article for the Raider Reporter. Check that out. And we will see you next time.